Hi, this is TJ Dubois at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers. I've definitely given up counting now.
Dear.
I honestly can't remember.
You've forgotten what the show was called.
I think
it sounded like you were going to get the name wrong.
I think it might be 9. I'm not sure.
It's not good when you're on a Wycombe station and you can't remember the name Wycombe. Wycombe Wanderers Show. That's what it is.
Thank you very much. We're reviewing 2 games. They are the home defeat to MK Dons.
Away defeat.
Oh, apologies. Yes, 2 away. It's not going on.
Should we start again?
Yes, away defeat to MK Dons, and also the trip to Shrewsbury.
Yes.
Should we just say it different ways each?
Yeah, I think we will.
To cover both.
Every time we'll say it slightly differently.
It's like 2 different languages.
I think we'll reflect more on the Shrewsbury than we will on the lot up the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good mention.
As well as that, lots of Gareth Ainsworth coming up tonight.
Yes.
So Gareth, post MK, post Shrewsbury.
And post his cycle.
And post his cycle. Yes, indeed, because he did cycle to work this morning. Which I know was a filthy morning.
I was going to say, yeah,
I'm quite impressed that he did that.
Very impressed.
And he slightly caught me off guard when he said it, so I didn't actually follow it up.
Ah.
I know, I should have done.
It's as if he cycles every day.
Yeah, well,
perhaps he does.
Maybe he does.
Yeah. Also, we'll be catching up with Ron Lavers, who you might know as the former groundsman / kit man from the Loakes Park and Adams Park eras as well. So if you've got a lawn at home that you've always wanted to turn into your very own Adams Park, we'll get you some top tips a little later on as well. It's all
He's not the tennis player, is he? Because I thought that first of all.
No, that's Rod Laver.
Yes.
He's the plural.
You initially said it, you see. It was like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, the bloke who's from the arena. And it's like, oh, no, not him.
Can you imagine if we spoke to him?
That'd be quite interesting.
Hasn't even heard of Wycombe Wanderers.
Yeah, maybe that could be a feature. We'll speak to people who know nothing about Wycombe Wanderers.
But have the same name as people with connection to the club.
Yeah, okay, that will do.
This week we're speaking to Gareth Ainsworth. No, not that one.
That would be interesting. Yeah, gas engineer Gareth Ainsworth joins us live from Durham, where he goes out every day in his little van.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
How does he find it sharing a name with the Wycombe Wanderers manager? If you can help us set up any of those interviews, then do get in touch.
Perhaps you
TWWS at wycombesound.org.uk. We're making it up tonight as we go along. So yes, that is what's coming up, and JJ as well.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah.
But first, so yes, let's reflect on the
back up to Stadium MK.
Another Bucks derby. Well, another derby, but a Bucks derby, nevertheless. And we sort of touched on last week that they're quite in form.
Yes,
and clearly continue to be so as well.
You look at if you watch the highlights reel, as I've just done, just to remind me what happened. The first half, it was all us. Everything about it was us. Until the penalty incident.
Yes, there's a dismissal to cover.
Yeah, and I mean, for a start, I thought these days anyway, and I know that the referee then thought he was denying goal-scoring opportunity, so that's why it was a penalty and a red card, but it's still, I thought we'd cut out the sort of double jeopardy rule where you could have a red card and a penalty, and you look back on it, and it didn't look like a red card to me. Penalty and yellow card maybe. Not penalty and red. And
also only 1-0 as well. It sounds like quite a close contest.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Tafazoli put the ball in the net as well, only to be judged offside. But he then repeated the feat that was not offside, of course, in Tuesday night's game. So that was good. But yeah, just one of those frustrating ones. Was very impressed to hear Gareth being very, very upbeat after it.
I don't think it's a red card. I'll give him a penalty all day because it's a foul in the box, but it's a genuine attempt for the ball. And when I asked the referee, he said it's a push. I can't see a push. It's a genuine attempt for the ball for me. I'm sure it's genuinely gone for the ball, and that is a yellow. And I can't understand how he's given a red card. I can understand it's a silly push or you drag someone down. He's gone. He's made a genuine attempt to get that ball. How can he get sent off? I'm not complaining. It was a penalty. Yeah, well done. MK Dons, beaties, but you didn't put us to bed with 10 men. I thought the boys were superb at 10 men. They defended so stoutly, really good, and we knew it would be really tough because they're a good side. They keep possession really well. But I said at half-time, if we can soak up the pressure and defend like you can defend, we may catch these on the break, and we were so close. I'm proud of that performance, and that'll do me. And football's great because they've got to come to us now, and we'll see them there. But fair play, MK Dons win the game. Fair and square.
That first 5 minutes of the second half, it looked like it might be a long afternoon, especially off the back of a draining midweek trip to Manchester City. But the boys dug in, and like you said, that second goal from MK Dons just never really came. Didn't look likely. And
I think David Stockler's had one shot to save second half. One shot from range where I expect him to save. there was some nervous moments at that end, and that's good for me, you know. Bale, Brendan Hanlon coming on, you know, we played Man City Tuesday, so the legs for me, phenomenal fitness levels. You know, a couple of their players came up and said, you got a good team there. I know, yeah, I'm really proud of them. I'm really, really proud of them. And we'll go on and win as many points as we need this season. But, you know, I'm just gutted on that decision because I believe it was a great tie. We created some great chances in that first half. Real fantastic save from their keeper. You know, off Sam Vokes, brilliant. We've hit the crossbar, we've had numerous set plays. Oh, it just didn't go for us, you know, and a couple of decisions I thought could have gone our way. Referee saw them differently. He saw him his way, and that also, you know, was MK Dons' way at the end because, you know, they get the penalty, they get the red card, we're down to 10 men. It's tough. They're a good side. But they didn't put us to bed at 10 men, and that's positive for me, real positive.
Away from home in a tight game, you've alluded to the chances. You know, you're going to want your team to be more clinical as the season progresses in those situations.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We want to score. We score one of the early chances. I think it's a whole different game. One of the late chances, you know, but, you know, like I say, 10 men is hard against any team, especially in modern football. We've done it. We almost did it today. I wish we could have done. Stock O'Neill had a magic moment at the end there, but that wasn't to be, you know. But super positive. Go to Shrewsbury on Tuesday, pick them all back up. Got rotations that I can do. I want to appeal Anthony Scott. I'm not sure whether we will or not, but I can't see if you're a young man on the football pitch and you make a genuine attempt for the ball and you get sent off for that. Why do we have this rule? Just say referee's discretion, because by the rules he should still be on the pitch, in my opinion.
Gareth, I've got to ask you about the shoes. We've not seen the red shoes for a while. What's brought this about?
No, I'm off to a wedding later, so they're now wedding shoes. They're not touchline shoes, but it's you know, they give them an airing now and again. We talk about the shoes out there today and the legs that were in those shoes. They would never stop running. Curtis Thompson, you know, Josh Scowen, the back three who all played midweek as well, you know. Just a fabulous show of fitness, strength, organisation, tiny bits, you know, tiny moments, sticky goals in when you can. And, you know, we got caught out with maybe an offside decision, I'm not sure. I don't know if we got that right or wrong, but at the moment, I'm proud of that. We'll go on Tuesday, we go again. Wycombe Wanderers fans, you were absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Well, by my notes, the last time I saw them, an away defeat and a red card, is red shoes spell danger?
It may be, you know. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. But I'm, like I say, really proud of the boys. Really pleased we came here, and do you know what? I think that there'll be more worries in the home dressing room today than there is in the away dressing room.
Gareth speaking to Phil about the Red Shoe Diaries whilst vacuuming.
Yeah, it did sound more like vacuums than lawnmowers.
Yes.
NK.
Perhaps it was one of those leaf blowers. That's a bit more topical for the time of year, isn't it?
That's very true. And I never understand those because it's just like, well, what's the point? Because it just everything goes everywhere.
Yes. And they have two settings, don't they? There's blow and suck.
That's true, yes.
But I can't help thinking that we've meandered from the topic at hand.
We're getting further and further away from the football.
Let's move away from Milton Keynes, literally.
Good, yes, okay. Even though we are back there on Tuesday night.
Oh, yes.
In the Papa John's Leyland Daff. Oh, come on, I can't think of any more sponsors, and that's had the most amount.
Johnston's
Paint, that's the one.
Yes, and you'll hear from Gareth again a bit later on, talking about his kind of mixture, if you like, of first team / younger players in that competition.
Freight Rover.
Oh, yes. Listen out for very good.
Yeah.
Leyland Daff, you said Leyland Daff.
Leyland Daff, yeah, it's probably the best one. But yes, so yeah, we've got to go back up there. But anyway, on Tuesday night, we were at Shrewsbury.
You went there as well, didn't you?
And I did go along there, yes, even though I wasn't quite sure, as I'm sure everybody who probably went in the car rather than on one of the coaches, possibly even the coach drivers as well, you know, did wonder, because it's one of those annoying places. So it's above Birmingham, which you sort of think, well, you could probably just about get there on a tank of petrol, but it's going to be a bit iffy, you know. By the time you're coming back past the Oxford services on the M40, you're going to be beginning to think, actually, do I really need to get some? And obviously when there's a fuel crisis on as well, it's slightly uncomfortable to then think, well, I might actually be marooned in Shrewsbury or somewhere on the M40 for a night. But very helpfully, actually, there was a pub where I parked. There was a petrol station right opposite that was actually selling petrol.
How handy.
I know, it was very good. It was
Have you been to Shrewsbury's ground before?
No, I've been to the old one, so I have been to the Gay Meadow, but I have not been to the New Meadow, or the Montgomery Waters Meadow, as it is now called. It was all right. It was, as new grounds go. It was perfectly functional as a football ground.
And did you see a good game?
First half was not particularly very much to write home about. And yeah, definitely if you look on social media, there's not much coverage of the first half because it wasn't very good. But second half,
everyone's too busy writing home.
It's saying, I managed to get here, but I'm still not quite sure about the petrol situation. Second half was much better. Joe Jacobson scoring a super goal. The thing that I really liked about JJ's goal, and lots of people have talked about the strike, is the way that he brings the ball down on the edge of the penalty area before the strike, which is sort of I think the tribute I would pay is it's Bayo-esque, the way that he brings the ball very carefully down and then fires the shot. It's absolutely brilliant. And then Tafazoli with another headed goal.
Yes, and a lot made obviously that JJ's goal, dead ball specialist, was from open play.
I know, yeah, absolutely, and very finely struck it was too. And I think, once again, we definitely deserved the win. It's just a shame that we now have this habit of when we're 2-0 up, of allowing the opposition to score and making the final sort of 10-15 minutes of the game slightly nervy. It wasn't particularly nervy against Shrewsbury. I didn't ever feel that they were actually going to score, but even so, you're still then sitting there slightly thinking, well, it would be a real shame if we threw away the 2 points here.
Because it did feel like, didn't it, this was a 2-0 win rather than a 2-1, I guess.
Completely, yeah. And I think the others have as well. I think, the Cheltenham game, that was definitely, should have been a 2-0 win. This certainly was a 2-0 win. The one against Accrington on the opening day, again, should have been a 2-0 win. So yeah, if we can cut out those late goals, that would be good for the blood pressure. Thank you very much, Gareth.
Let's get his thoughts after the game.
An amazing second half display, and what a win away from home.
Yeah, do you know, myself and Dobbo demanded a little bit more quality at half time. I thought that first half we went toe to toe with Shrewsbury, who are a good side, by the way. Steve Cottrell, good manager. We've got obviously Aaron Pierre, one of our ex-players, who's a big player for them, and they've recruited well. Physical, get the ball forward like we do, and they're going to cause teams problems. They're definitely going to take points off teams here. Like I say, a big fan of Steve Cottrell and the way he coaches and the way he gets his teams playing. So at half time it was very even, and it was that moment of quality that was going to break the deadlock. We had a good passage of play. We started getting our foot on the ball a little bit more, and then the pass into Sulikake in the box, which Dobbo's been working on in training, and I mentioned if they can get in the box on the ball, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous position. Sully's twisted up his defender, put a great ball in. Jack Grimmer's had a header, and it drops to JJ on the edge of the box, who slams it home. And it was a brilliant goal for JJ, who's he took a nasty whack in the first half, but he was a solid performer today, and great captain's performance from him. And then another bit of quality, a Sully Kaikai again with a fantastic set piece. What a ball that was in, and Ryan Tafazoli just had to glance it in on his birthday, and again, nothing more than the boys deserved, but Shrewsbury had their moment. Teams are going to have their moment, and that it's going to happen. Look at the weather. The weather's changed. The winter's come. It's a tough place, and squads are going to be stretched. The depth of squads are going to be stretched, and they definitely gave us some real hairy moments at the end there, and Aaron Pierre himself going through on his left foot, thought he might have scored, but really proud of the boys, the way they saw the game out. They've scored a good corner against us, but we had a passage of play about 83 minutes where I thought it took the sting out of the game. It really did. Josh and Gareth McCleary coming on and playing this just these quality passes that these players who've played at high levels, that they've got this. Bringing Bayo and then to see the game out, and obviously David Wheeler to add some physicality. I thought we saw the game out really well. I've just gone in there and said, look, a win is a win away from home at Shrewsbury on a Tuesday night after you've done 5 consecutive games. One was Man City away, 10 men on Saturday. I think this is a great win, and I'm looking forward to Saturday night against Morecambe.
Well, it must be an absolute credit, just like you said, that we've got a full team right now, haven't played 5 games on the bounce. It must be amazing to have a full fit squad ready to take the next team.
Yeah, the depth Ryan in the squad is something that I'm proud of, and I'm thankful to the owners, again the Courigs, for letting me get these players in, because
You look at our bench tonight, Darryl Horgan, international, Gareth McCleary, ex-international, Asma Meti, international, Jordan Obita, Bayo, David Wheely, and Adam Prisbeck. It is a really top bench. We've got Dominic Gape to add to this, who didn't make the trip because he's expecting, and I don't know if I've missed anyone out, but he'll be a quality player as well. But we've got this depth, which is really important, which enables me to rotate. We brought Kake and Hanlon in tonight in place of Horgan and McCleary. But big decisions to make, because them two have been on fire, and back at home, there could be more rotations. Sam Vokes again ran his socks off. Just really proud and thankful that I've been allowed to do what I've wanted to do in the transfer market, get this strength in and be able to rotate the squad without weakening it at all. There's nothing that brings this down. We're all at this good level, and it's brilliant to have these players to pick from.
Gareth speaking to Ryan after the Shrewsbury game, and that's something that really stands out, isn't it? The size of the squad, or depth of the squad.
It's suddenly quite impressive, isn't it? Which I don't think we've ever said before, really. But you think, that you're looking on our bench and thinking, well, actually, there's players there that will. I wouldn't say improve the situation, because that then sounds like I'm criticising the first 11 that's chosen. But there's so many options on the bench. You're not looking at our bench thinking, we'll have those players if somebody gets injured. And just the way that Gareth actually uses them. The fact that Bayo came on for the last 5 minutes against the Shrews, definitely.
See, they're not known as the Shrews, aren't they? No,
that's true. No, or Salop. There's a lot of Salop signs there.
Oh, right.
I know. Again,
is that something backwards?
No, that's just what they're called. And also a lot about the badge as well.
Oh, okay.
Because they had controversy about the badge, because they redid the badge, didn't they? With, I think, one lion on it, and they wanted the 3 lions. Not the 3 lions, but their 3 lions.
Different ones.
if you get my drift. But Gareth McCleary being able to come on as a substitute, and, goodness me, Gareth McCleary, he's just... incredible.
We've mentioned his speed before, haven't we?
Well, indeed. And again, looking back at the highlights of the MK Dons game, everything good that involves Gareth McCleary. He is just absolutely incredible. And we're very, very lucky, I think, to have a player like that at Wycombe Wanderers.
As mentioned, Joe Jacobson was also on target, not from a dead ball situation. Let's hear from him.
Tough game, really tough game, and we probably didn't hit the heights we've hit in other games this season. We knew it was going to be tough. Gaffer spoke before the game and said these are the kind of places you need to come to if you want to kind of do something in the league. And at half time we said it's just going to be 1 or 2 little bits of quality that are going to kind of decide this game from either team. And I think first half we didn't really do enough on the ball. I think we were sloppy at times, and I think second half then we had good spells where we got it down, got into some good areas, scored a couple of goals, and again at the minute, like we've done, we've kind of made it difficult for ourselves late on, but I think we stayed strong, and we rode our luck a little bit at the times, but good victory, take it home, and on to home performance on Saturday, hopefully.
Most people will see Jacobson down as a score, they'll just assume it was from a corner or from a penalty, but from open play you don't get many, do you?
No, I'd like to get more. It's just one of those things. I popped up, I don't really know what I was doing there. It's just one of those things that sometimes that you just follow the ball and end up being in a position, fell to me nicely, and I managed to take it. Dobby will tell you that when we're doing shooting practices, I'm always the first one to ask to be involved, and he's like, no, this is just for the attackers. So I'm thankful that it went in and set us up nicely for the rest of the game, so it was a nice one for me.
Bit of debate online how many goals you have scored from open play for Wycombe. We think it's 3, but 2 of those have definitely been against Shrewsbury.
Yeah, weirdly, Jace said that to me as we were coming off. He was like, it was your last one against them as well. And it's not, it's unfortunate. I had 3 amazing years here. I loved it. I loved living in the area. I loved playing for the club and had some really good times. And just one of those things, it happened that I've scored against them a couple of times now. Like I said, I'll take it. I'm Wycombe, and it was a big victory for us tonight.
And was it another milestone, this goal for you in your career?
I think it's the 50th, yeah. It's amazing what a couple of penalties can do for you over the years. But one of those things again, which is a nice little milestone. It's been however many, 14, 15, 16 years, whatever it is. So all these little goals, they all add up, and nice little milestone tonight. And
your dad's been in touch as well. He's not shy on social media. He says you only score when he's on holiday. So what's your message to him?
Cancel the flight. Stay out there for as long as possible. We don't need you back here. Go and enjoy yourself. Keep making yourself look like a handbag or whatever he's doing out out there. And, yeah, enjoy it. I'm sure I'll get a few FaceTimes tomorrow from him as he's laying on the beach. But yeah, it's nice that he's still looking out for Wycombe when he's there.
It's been some tough games on the road for Wycombe recently. It must be nice to get on the bus now with the 3 points.
Yeah, and I read somewhere about our record away on Tuesday nights when we stayed overnight, and look, the club do a lot for us of how we prepare and stuff, and we've come up yesterday, we did things right, and they're looking into a hell of a lot of different things about, reasons for this, about sleep patterns and stuff like that, so they're really trying to change that record that we had. Tonight showed that we can win away, but also our home form is where we've really shone this season, and I think out of the 9 games we played, we've only played 3 at home and won them all, so we're desperate to get back to Adams Park. We want to make it a fortress this season. We started off really well there, and if we can carry on picking up wins, then I'm sure we're going to have a successful season.
And last question for me, left back's been your position for most of your career, left centre back of a 3 is where you're at the moment. You liking that new position?
Yeah, I started off as a winger all those years ago, so I don't know how far back I can go from here. But no, I really enjoy it. I think it suits me down to the ground a little bit. I know the gaffer kind of likes full-back kind of players in those wide ones, or if it's a little bit lopsided and things like that, so it suits me down to the ground. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it since we went there March, April time last year. Yeah, I think I've played some of my best stuff in the last few years there, so yeah, as long as I'm in the team, I'm happy playing anywhere, but I do really like it there. Yeah,
been a while since you scored from a corner as well. When's that coming?
Well, last season I wasn't allowed to by the officials, so this season I don't know, the way Sully puts them in, he can take them all from now on and put them on a plate for Taff. But yeah, like I said, I try sometimes. The boys have a go at me for shooting a bit too much from corners, but if Dobbo, who sorts of set piece out, allows me to do it, I'm right there.
Wycombe Wanderers captain Joe Jacobson speaking to Phil. Look out for more goals from all sorts of places from him.
I think he's also got the right idea about being vaguely critical of the officials, that actually you wait until like the following season and then you slightly criticise them, and hopefully you don't then get in trouble with the
good timing.
Well done, JJ.
We need to revisit a bit because chronologically we've missed an event of the week.
We have, yes, which of course was the rescinding of the red card for Anthony Stewart, which was in some ways great, but in other ways really annoying, wasn't it? Because you just think, we played the whole of the second half. And what can you do? There's obviously nothing you can do. There's no right or wrong way of sorting these things out, really. You speak to some of our friends in the Premier League about, say, VAR, and they'd say, no, don't do it, whatever you do. But yeah, just very, very annoying.
Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we'll be hearing more from Gareth Ainsworth, looking ahead to the game against Morecambe on Saturday, and we'll catch up with a former groundsman.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Bing bong. Calling the people of High Wycombe. It's David Stockdale, number 13, here from Wycombe Wanderers. Not sure what to do this Saturday? Get yourself down to Adams Park. We continue our League One campaign. Bring your chanting A game, help us get all 3 points. Tickets are now available at tickets.wwfc.com. See you there.
Hi, this is Jason McCarthy at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we will look ahead to the game against Morecambe, which Wycombe Sound will be at.
We will, yes. Outside, come and say hello beforehand.
Yes, beforehand is the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Don't come and say hello afterwards because we won't be there.
And also, looking ahead to the game, this is the time to do it as well, isn't it? Again, you can't do that afterwards.
No, you can't. That's very true.
But first, if you're a regular listener to the show, you'll know that each week we feature a fantastic interview as arranged, I think that's the word, by the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. Big thanks to Alan Hutchison and also JDT for sorting that out. This week, though, something a little different for you.
Ooh.
I know. Good sound effect of something a little different there. Rather than an ex-player, we've spoken to an ex-groundsman who looked after the playing surface at both Loakes Park and Adams Park. He's called Ron Lavers, and here's how he got the role.
I first started watching Wycombe in the mid-60s and became an ardent fan very, very quickly, and sort of watched them through the 70s, the Middlesbrough game and, so many great matches in the Isthmian League. And then I became more involved on the side as a steward at the Blues Club, which was the old social club at Loakes Park. I was there sort of from about 79 through to 82-ish, something like that. And then I was approached by the then secretary, the great John Goldsworthy, to see if I was interested in becoming a groundsman. I was currently working at Wycombe District Council, where I'd been for 6 years working on the Parks Department. And I had an apprenticeship there for sort of 6 years, and they sent me to college. And, sort of got all my experience from there, really.
So I guess obviously being a fan of the club, you were aware of Loakes Park, of course, and the famous slope. Did you find that a bit daunting as something to have to kind of look after?
Yeah. 11 feet from corner to corner. It's amazing.
That must have provided you with a number of challenges.
Well, to be honest, not really. When you're sort of working on the pitch, you weren't really that aware of it. But obviously when teams turned up and anybody who hadn't played there for the first time sort of came out of the tunnel and looked at it and think, oh my God, you know. Yeah, I remember I was listening to Anton's interview last week, actually, Anton Vixhouse, and he was saying that a lot of teams used to play on the top of the slope on the main stand side, trying to gain an advantage, but it didn't seem to work that way.
No, of course, because Anton must have been there, obviously, around the time that you were. It must have been so nice as well to be able to build relationships with players and, of course, the managers as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Met many great players and managers too. Yeah, I was just looking up, actually, in my time there were 6 managers from the time I started as groundsman to when I finished.
And I guess what many supporters don't really appreciate is I'm sure that the managers will probably want the pitch to be done in a particular way.
Yeah, some more than others, really. Mike Keane, who was manager when I first started, he didn't really get that involved with the pitch, to be honest. He just sort of, turned up on the day and said, oh, that looks great, sort of thing, and left it at that. The people who came after that, Paul Benson, Alan Gain, Peter Sotheby, were pretty much the same. Jim Kelman took quite a big interest in the pitch, as did Martin O'Neill, who I finished with.
I mean, I imagine quite a lot of work goes into sort of creating, if you like, the kind of the playing surface to a standard that at least that you would want it at as well.
Yeah. I always used to feel, especially at Loakes Park, where I was just the only one there, really. I used to sort of look after the pitch and the dressing rooms and clean the ground after games, sweeping up and things like that. So the time on the actual pitch was a bit limited. So that created a challenge in itself.
And obviously you were at the club at some special times with various cup wins and going to Wembley as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. 1991 sticks in the memory, obviously, with the first FA Trophy win. And it was a real thrill to sort of, because I used to be kit man on the away games then, and to actually sort of go to Wembley with the players and be able to share the thrill of walking out on that pitch was just incredible.
So what was the move to Adams Park like? Because again, that must have been something quite exciting to oversee that transition, if you like.
Yeah, it was very, very exciting. Brian Lee sort of oversaw most of that. He was like project manager, if you like, and he sort of kept me involved in all the developments there, and I used to go up and visit the ground with John Goldsworthy and see how things were going on, and it was amazing, really. Yeah, incredible times.
There must be so much to kind of were there many differences in obviously looking after that pitch compared to, obviously there was no slope at that one, but I'm sure that was the main difference.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the pitch at Adams Park then, I mean, obviously it's changed now, but it was sort of new technology, whereas it was almost entirely sand. There was very, very little loam in the pitch. So that was to try and get the more root development going on in the pitch, which worked well for the first year, but the second year wasn't so good. So, we had more problems with the pitch. And obviously after that, they had the pitch relaid. And then years after that, Wasps came along and they had another new pitch, and which was made with a netting underneath so that the scrums didn't sort of pull the grass out too badly. But yeah, pitch technology has moved on incredibly since my time.
And it's got undersoil heating, of course, which is something that you didn't benefit from at Loakes Park.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the pitch at Adams Park now is incredible.
Because I think I remember hearing as well when I was at school, and people used to say that I think it's Adams Park is the same dimensions as Wembley. Perhaps that's certainly the old Wembley. Is that
it is? That is exactly right. Yeah.
Because I guess many teams might find that a bit daunting as well, because they're used to slightly smaller pitches.
Yeah, indeed. But in later years, I think when Gareth first took over, when was that? About 2015, 2016, something.
Yeah,
like
9
that,
years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I remember him sort of, he brought in the touchlines to make the pitch narrower because it suited the style of play that he wants to play. So, you know, but when it was a full-size pitch, yeah, it was a very, very big pitch to play on.
Have you got any memories of particularly challenging weather conditions which would have made your job especially difficult?
Nothing springs to mind. Obviously, we had snow. I mean, a lot of the older supporters remember the Peterborough game in the FA Cup we had, which was called off within about an hour. It's the famous one with John Motson standing on the pitch in his sheepskin coat, which was amazing because Peterborough came along the motorway and got to Handy Cross. And at Handy Cross, there was no snow at all. And when they came down to Adams Park, the pitch was covered with about 2.5, 3 inches of snow. So obviously, no way the game was going to go ahead.
Is that something you knew well in advance? You looked at that and
no,
we're not playing on that today.
Caught us all completely by surprise. But after that, I mean, there were games at Loakes Park and Adams Park where we had a lot of snow, and it was just fantastic to see the support from people who turned up with shovels and things like that to help me get the lines cleared and get the match on and make it playable.
It must be a role as well, which you must be so proud to have done for the length of time that you did.
It was, yeah. I felt really privileged, and obviously being a fan of the club, it was home from home for me to go to work. You know, it's just an absolute joy, really, and to mix with all the characters there and the players and managers and just be so heavily involved and going on many away trips on the coach and having a chat with players. It was just great times.
It must have been such a brilliant insight, as I say, just to have that close relationship with not only the being responsible for the pitch, but also, as you say, the kits as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It took up a lot of time. Sorting the kit out and doing things for the away games and getting the drinks ready and things like that. Fortunately, there was no mishaps. I don't remember taking the wrong kit or anything like that. So,
I was going to say, you must have some great kind of behind-the-scenes stories and things that are quite kind of quirky things that probably happen that supporters don't get to see.
Yeah. Things that I probably couldn't talk about, things that happen in the dressing rooms. After games, maybe after heavy defeats, things flying around and some choice language.
And what did you enjoy most about the role? Because I imagine, as I say, you must have taken great care as to caring for the turf.
Yeah, I especially, I think, in the latter years, I enjoyed the away trips. That was really good, and being able to meet opposing groundsmen, if you like, and sort of chew the cud with them, and gain some extra knowledge on how to look after the pitch. Telford springs to mind. I mean, any of the older supporters again would know what an incredible pitch that was.
It must be so pleasing as well for you to kind of watch on as a fan now after being able to have contributed in that way as well.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, what Gareth's done is just amazing. He's a fabulous character as well. So, it's no surprise to me how well he gets on with the players and gets the results that he does.
And really pleasing, as you say, that the work that the Ex-Player Association do as well. Really great to have the different generations of players still able to get together. Well, less so in more recent times, but hopefully from now on as well to kind of relive some brilliant times.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I try to attend as many functions as I can, like the annual dinner and also the quiz in March, which my team's been lucky enough to win on a couple of occasions.
I was going to say, I hear you're quite a quizzer.
Yeah, I do love my quizzes. And also, a couple of months ago, I was on the golf day at Winter Hill, which was a fabulous day. And got to meet up with not only the players from the time I was at Wycombe, but also a lot of the older players going back into the sort of 50s and 60s. So the ex-players is such a tight-knit group, and it's fantastic for them to all get together and relive old stories and old times. And yeah, Alan Hutchinson and John Taylor have done such a good job with that, and it's just so great to get together with them.
Because I guess years ago as well, the pitch must have got a lot more use than it does now, perhaps, because there was obviously reserve teams, and I guess they trained on the pitches as well.
They did, yeah, because at Loakes Park they used to have the old training ground above the ground, which was sort of between, the actual pitch itself and the nurses' area there for the hospital. But that wasn't in very good condition. So obviously when that got really bad, in the winter time, things like that, they would use the pitch more to train on. So, that's just the way it was.
I guess when you go to football games generally now as well, you can't really look at the pitch in the same way as other people would, because you're probably looking for other things.
Well, I certainly look at the pitches, but as I said before, pitch technology now is just out of this world, where when you look at pitches at the end of the season, there's barely a blade of grass missing. Whereas I've got some old videos and DVDs of Match of the Days back in the 60s and 70s, and there's absolute quagmires, and you wonder how the players stood up on it, let alone play football. But nowadays, it's a carpet right the way through the season.
I was going to say, you see so many, don't you, in the past of, as you say, goal mouths that are really carved up, or especially like the touchline where the referee's assistant, as they're now known, but the linesmen seem to be almost sort of digging a trench for themselves, and the fact that they've run up so much.
Yeah. I've seen some incredible games on pitches, which were certainly not fit for football, that's for sure.
And what have you been doing since your time of leaving the club? Because I imagine you've probably got a garden which looks exactly like a football pitch now with the stripes and everything.
My wife wishes it looked like that way, yeah. But it's a bit like the plumber's leaky tap, isn't it? You never get round to your own. You're doing other people's. But now that I've sort of become sort of semi-retired, almost retired completely now, I get more time to look after the garden. And I have an allotment, and also play quite a bit of golf, badly, but I'm learning. So yeah, it does look a lot better than it used to.
Have you got any tips for anyone who might want to recreate their own sort of football pitch? Especially everyone wants stripes, don't they? You've got to have stripes in your lawn.
They certainly do. Yeah. Not really, just plenty of weed and feed for your average sort of domestic lawn. Try and keep it open, aeration, lots of forking. That's it really. Without going into too many technical details, anybody can achieve a good lawn with a little bit of time and energy and a little bit of money.
That's all you need. If you want
inspiration for us all there.
Recreate Adams Park at home.
Definitely.
Brilliant to chat to Rod Lavers, and obviously to hear his memories and thoughts as well, and some quite technical.
Yeah, indeed. It was impressive, and I very much like the sort of image of him watching old episodes of Match of the Day and watching it partly to look at the pitch. And I know what he means as well, because you do see old football
really
coverage,
dug up.
and you just think, goodness me, these days they wouldn't even dream of allowing that game to go ahead, whereas back in the 70s and 80s it was fairly standard.
Tell us what we've got coming up in the final part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
We've got Gareth Ainsworth again.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Hi everyone, it's Matt Bloomfield at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
Final part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. In a couple of moments' time, we'll be hearing from
Gareth Ainsworth.
Looking ahead.
Took a couple of moments to click where you were going on it.
Yeah, we didn't rehearse that bit, clearly.
No. But you rehearsed any of it tonight.
No, well, we don't rehearse any of it.
No, that's true. That's how you can tell it's live.
Imagine if we rehearsed it. Anyway, first, you can catch us at Adams Park on Saturday at the, well worth mentioning, at the Morecambe game.
Rob will be there broadcasting his show from 12 o'clock, so do go and say hello.
Take part in the quiz, perhaps.
And take part, well, whatever. The more the merrier. He will be very, very pleased if people go up and say hello.
He'll literally talk to anyone.
He will, yes.
Talking of anyone, we've got someone to say happy birthday to.
We have
a big hello.
A big hello to Amelia, who is 11 today. She is what's being described as a super crazy wanderer. And there's a lovely picture of her walking out of the tunnel. I assume, on a day when she was a mascot. I'm not exactly sure. But
not that she's a new signing or anything.
No, well, you never know, actually.
One of Sam Grace's early talent spots.
Indeed, yes, she's going to be in the development B team squad or whatever. It always seems to have a different name whenever they talk about it.
Brilliant to be 11, though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It was a long time ago, wasn't it? But yes, hello, Amelia. Nice to know that you're listening, and hope you have had a fantastic birthday.
Good time to have a birthday as well, right at the end of September. I don't know why. Any time's a good time to have a birthday, isn't it?
I'm not quite sure where you're going with any of this tonight.
Oh, okay. No, me neither, to be honest.
It doesn't matter. It's just as if like, if you were one of those sort of like players on FIFA, it's as if you know, like you can control the level of the referee, whether the referee is like really really lenient or really so tonight it's sort of like as if you've gone to like bizarre setting. So like sometimes it's like mainstream, and other times it's bizarre. And tonight you've definitely gone down towards the bizarre setting tonight.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. I do mean that in a very loving, complimentary way, not in a bad way at all.
No, I took it in the right way, I think. But first, Bob spoke to Gareth earlier today.
Let's take you back first of all to Saturday. Whilst it must be wonderful that Anthony Stewart's red card was then overturned, it must be so frustrating as a manager to know that you then played the whole of the second half with only 10 men unnecessarily.
Yeah, of course, and these things do happen, but they seem to be happening more and more now in football. I think both us and Middlesbrough both received red cards that were rescinded. I think that the rules, the interpretation of the rules, I think everyone knew what had happened except the referee. And Anthony made a genuine attempt, and to have that overturned was the right decision. But obviously, I thought not just the boys having to play with 10 men and being obviously stretched and tired further. The fact that with 11v11, I thought we were by far in the game. I thought we had the best chances of the first half, right up until the penalty shout, and I think the second half would have gone in pretty much the same vein. But you have to take these as a manager, and it's all part of the game. But after 9 games, only losing 2, and one of them, we have a genuine belief that we wouldn't have lost if we'd have had 11 men. I think it's a real good start to the season. So there's plenty of positives to look at. But I'm glad that the EFL made the decision and the FA made the decision to rescind the red card, because on Tuesday Anthony was needed, and obviously we all saw that. So gutted, but as I said after the game in my interview, I think that the fact that MK Dons didn't put us to bed shows character, shows how far we've come as a team, shows resilience, and 11v11, I think we definitely get one over on that team, but we'll have to wait until they come to Adams Park for that to happen. Right now we've got a lot more games to concentrate on, and we're looking forward to those.
And then on Tuesday night, a fantastic display against Shrewsbury, particularly in the second half. But in particular, I want to mention the fantastic display from all the fans that managed to get there. Clearly, at the moment, with the problems with the petrol, it was quite impressive to see actually so many in the away end. Absolutely, and if the fans want to know if I'm doing my bit, then I've cycled in this morning to work from where I live. So, definitely in appreciation of those guys as well. I'm trying to do my bit and save a little bit of petrol. So, when I can cycle in, I did. But I take my hat off to them all, because not only is it a Tuesday night away at Shrewsbury, and we got home at 3 o'clock, but we all have Wednesday off, and we all take it and sleep in. Some of those people would have gone to work, and not just gone to work, probably got up early to try and find some petrol somewhere or some diesel somewhere that they've not wasted, but used coming to watch their beloved Wanderers. So I cannot, sometimes I can't fathom how they do it, and the passion they show for this side. We just want to replace on the pitch and show them that we really care, and my boys really thank you for all your support. And you saw, some cracking performances. The game itself was a typical Wycombe Wanderers game of old, I'd say. It was a real
clash of teams, both trying to get the ball forward quickly, and the bit of magic that opened it up with Sully Kai and some clever play around the box. A fantastic free kick in by Sully and Taft's header, and the first goal, a brilliant strike from our captain JJ. So they definitely had their moments. I'm glad the goals were at their end as well, because they saw them and they cheered and they celebrated with the boys. And as I say, just phenomenal support. Thank you so much, and they deserve a medal, those guys who were there and girls who were there on Tuesday night.
The whole thing was it made it a lot better actually driving home when the M54 I think was then closed, and then the M6 as well was closed for a little bit. It definitely helped the fact that the goals were down our end and that we came away with smiles on our faces. Well,
3 points. I'm sure the odd motorway being closed is worth 3 points.
Definitely.
But, it's just. Like I said, we're living in very testing times at the moment. Hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and if we can put smiles on faces and keep people's spirits up, then that is my job. Both players, fans, staff, everyone around me. I will never stop energising these lot, and believe me, you all motivate me. So thank you very much.
And then to Saturday, are we looking forward to another possibly old-fashioned sort of clash against Morecambe?
Well, it's definitely a team that we've struggled against over the years. I'm not going to hide from that. People are going to say our record's not great, and I agree totally. Our record is not great against Morecambe. They always were our bogey team with Jim Bentley in charge, a good friend of mine. And every time we got close to achieving something, Morecambe would put a spanner in the works, and that's happened throughout. So we have got to make sure that we're on this one, because they've turned over some teams this season. Do not, please, for 1 minute, underestimate Morecambe. People probably did that against Wycombe 3 years ago in League One, and we got some fantastic results. Some real good results in League One, and I think Morecambe are showing just why they got promoted. They just needed probably that glimmer of light, that glimmer of League One football to show what they're capable of. And being a Northwest team, I'm very proud of them. But all I want is a Wycombe win on Saturday. I've asked the boys to give me as many points in these next 4 games. I've asked for maximum points. I want maximum points if we're going to want to achieve this season, and to do one of our bogey teams at home, even though we haven't played them for quite some time, is a big ask, and we're going to be working really hard over the next 2 days to make sure that we know what we're going to do against Morecambe. We know how we're planning and their strengths and weaknesses, and I say if those fans can make the trip, I know it's Morecambe, but it's League One, and where we're sat at the moment is very exciting. So please get down to Adams Park and get behind the chair, boys, because we need you.
And then on Tuesday night, another trip up to MK. I'm assuming that probably the Papa John's Trophy isn't the main of main importance this season, but even so, it'd be nice to get one over on them after what happened last Saturday.
Yeah, it's not about getting one over, honestly. It's about putting in a good performance and seeing probably some of the younger boys having a look and seeing how they're faring in the team. We're going to have to call on some of these younger players at some time. The likes of Chris Farino, Jack Wakely, Connor Parsons, Ollie Pendleby's already made his mark, and it's Mamete, classed still as this young talent that we've got. So really looking forward to seeing the boys out in action at MK Dons, and it will be splattered with first team, the ones who played in the first team lately as well, because we just don't have the squad size. So I don't want anyone thinking this is just a tournament where our young boys play. I'm sure there's going to be some of the older players playing too, and that's part and parcel. But it's a good time to get some football minutes into these development boys. Sam Grace has done a fantastic job with these boys, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of them progress into our first team in the future.
Any news yet on the international break and whether or not we're going to be playing that weekend?
No news yet. No, we're assessing international call-ups for the boys. I think we keep it in-house. We've got 5 potentials, probably 6 potentials who could be called up, and again we'll then assess, position-wise, whether they're in or out of the team. It's not just a decision that we take lightly, but we'll be having a look at seeing where we lie with that, and we'll make sure we get the news out as soon as we can.
And fantastic, actually, that you've got that decision to make. I mean, when you say it's 6 potentials, that's so impressive for Wycombe Wanderers.
Yeah, you go from Andre to TJ, the 2 younger boys, then Anis, Darryl, Sully Kai, Adam Prisbeck. They're all potential call-ups for their countries, and to play for your country. I never did. There was rumours when I was in the Premier League, and even rumours were just. I mean, it's the proudest moment of your careers, without a doubt, when you line up and you hear that national anthem and you go out to represent your nation. So proud of these boys, and I'm really hoping that we get many more to come. But 6 potentials is very good for Wycombe Wanderers, and it's probably days that we could only dream of years ago, but it's happening, it's real, and we're loving it.
It's a really good point, actually, because not that long ago you wouldn't have imagined that Wycombe would have a fistful of internationals.
6 is a lot, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And just picking up on what you said, can you imagine Gareth Ainsworth playing for England and just how bursting with pride he would have been?
Absolutely, especially the national anthem.
Oh, completely. Yeah. He would have been singing that out for all he was worth, wouldn't he?
So you've been having a look at the Morecambe record?
Yeah, actually.
That sounds like a newspaper, doesn't it?
It's not that bad. In the games that we played, and I'm surprised that we've played this many, because to me, Morecambe still seem like they're relatively new in the Football League, although I know that people probably actually say that about us. The games between Morecambe and Wycombe, Morecambe have won 4, we've drawn 5, and we've won 9.
Ooh.
But I think Gareth feels that
More
they're
recent.
a bit of a... because of the recent record. So the last game we played was at Adams Park, February 2018, when we lost 4-2. Before that, in November 2017, we lost 2-1 there. Game before that was the 1-1 draw when Wycombe could still make the playoffs, but they needed to beat Morecambe and then win the following weekend. We went up to Morecambe, and I believe it was our old friend Kevin Ellison scoring right at the end, I think, for Morecambe to deny us the win that we needed. I may have got that slightly muddled, but I definitely remember a weekend in Morecambe where we needed to win to get in the playoffs, and we didn't.
Because you've seen Morecambe play, of course.
I have, yes, yeah, I've seen it. I've been up to Morecambe. I've been up to Morecambe a couple of times, I think. It's one of those journeys. It's a long way.
I was going to say,
long way to Morecambe. If you lose, it does seem to take a few days to get home. And definitely it's not one that you want to be coming back down and discovering that the M6 has been closed and then there's diversions, which is what happened on Tuesday night.
Especially with fuel issues as well.
Well, and that's again what you were slightly thinking. I was glad that the place in Shrewsbury, they seem to have got petrol in Shrewsbury.
But you did have an issue with a door handle.
I did, yeah, because I did actually. So I stayed the night in a hotel near Birmingham.
What happened with the door handle?
I'm not quite sure, but you know how you're meant to then lock the hotel door before you go to bed?
Yes.
So I did this, but then I forgot in the morning as I was going down for breakfast.
I see what's happened here.
And so you used
a bit more force.
I wouldn't say I did use a lot of force, but I did open the door, and to my surprise, as I opened the door, the entire handle sort of like came off, and the lock flew towards me, and I thought, well, that's not very sturdy, is it? So I wasn't quite sure whether to go down and sort of say, this isn't very good, is it? Like, if someone had tried to break through my door, they would have got in, but no, I just went down slightly sheepishly saying, sorry, I've broken your door. And they didn't seem to mind.
All right. Oh, good news.
Probably happens all the time.
I was going you can take that to any away trip with you.
And whatever.
I've trashed your hotel room. Well, not strictly speaking, Indeed. I've just broken a handle.
It's a bit like one of the cold-blooded hearts.
If you're not used to a soft closed toilet seat and you suddenly drop it, that's something I didn't think I'd be mentioning on the show.
Okay. No. I'm not sure I've had that experience. One that goes down very slowly like that. Okay. And what? And you try and force it?
No, the opposite. If there isn't one and you just let it go, then it will just bang.
I see what you mean, and then it bangs. Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, I never tried to force a soft closed toilet seat.
Have you got a soft closed toilet seat at home then?
Yeah, too.
Have you?
Yeah, upstairs and downstairs. Look at me showing off now.
Goodness me.
I know.
You live in a posh house, don't you?
Does everyone not got one?
No.
This honestly, I didn't see the end of the show going this way.
I didn't really know that they existed.
Really?
Can you get one from the Wycombe Wanderers shop?
I think that must be well arranged. We should, next time we speak to Missy, soft closing Wycombe Wanderers toilet
seats. I shall go home and inquire as to why we haven't got one at home.
Please do. Report back next week.
Okay. Can you order them from Amazon?
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, okay. We should say, yes, we're playing Morecambe, incidentally, on Saturday. Tickets are still available. And then we are away again to the MK Dons in the Papa John's LDV Vans Associate Members Trophy on Tuesday night with a 7pm kickoff. We need to win that game because otherwise it does look pretty much like we are out of the competition because, of course, we've already lost to the Aston Villa under-21s.
Lots to discuss and an international break next week as well.
Yes, I shall go and examine the toilet seat at Wycombe Sound Towers to see whether it's a soft closing one. Don't think it is.